Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout as we look ahead to Game Week 22 and beyond. My name is Joe and today we're going to have a recap of the Great and the Good League, which we feature in the Fantasy Football Scout pages each week. This is compiled by Greyhead. It's his selection of 18 managers he wants to follow, that he wants to follow how they're doing, how they're the sort of transfers they're making, the strategies they're adopting, the decisions they're taking each week. So it's very much his choice there. Obviously, a lot of those managers have very good track records in the game, and some of them they just have unusual strategies that he likes to look at, and it also contains a number of winners. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at some of the names on that list. And we're also going to sort of dig a bit deeper because I'm on that list as well, which is very nice of Greyhead to put me on there. But also a lot of these managers I chat to on Twitter, as many of you do, or X as I should call it, talk on social media. A lot of them are very engaging. You can find out what they're going to be doing. They're quite happy to chat to you about it. So, and also I've spoken to them and interviewed them on various videos and podcasts for Fantasy Football Scout over the years as well. So I've got a slight inkling of the sort of managers they are, the sort of measures they adopt, sort of ones that are similar to me, the ones that are very different to me as well, because it would be very boring if everyone was similar to me, obviously, and it would also be very boring if everyone was similar to a particularly different type of manager, one that maybe takes risks, that type of thing. So I just thought it'd be good to sort of give my insight into what they're doing. So we're going to have a look at the table, see how they're doing, how they've done in Game Week 21, sort of where they're at in the overall rankings, that type of thing. We're going to look at the transfers they've already taken, and then we're also going to look at an issue of money as well. I feel that we're awash with money this week. Some people think that they need more, but we'll see who are the money bags and who are the paupers in the Great and the Good League as well. And we'll have a look at the template, how it's changed from Game Week 21, how it could change in Game Week 22. And that's where I'll offer a little bit more of an insight, because I've spoken very recently to managers like FPL General, who's in the list, and been monitoring, those, like, so for example, Mark and Az in Black Box as well. Before we go on with that, just a reminder, do press that like button. Also, do remember to subscribe as well, so you keep up to date with all our latest videos and podcasts. Also, do check out fantasyfootballscout.co.uk for membership offers there. I think there's 20% off at the moment, so do that. Most of these managers here, if not all of these managers here, I would say all of these managers here, do look at the stats on Fantasy Football Scout. They do follow the stats, the tables, how players are doing, and that helps their judgment. A lot of them a little bit more on the eye test side than the stats side, but that's because they're all different types of managers. So we're looking at players like myself, Tom Freeman, who I do the Goals Imminent video with each week, Seb, Andy from the Scoutcast, FPL General, Praz, Zofa, Late Riser as well. Oh, actually, is late. I'll just check whether Late Riser is there. Actually, I don't know if he is actually. No, a name to go into there. It should be in there, really. Definitely. So we're looking at that Fabio Borges, who is probably one of, if not the best FPL manager, so consistent over the years. Finn Solly, Jan Kepski, John Ballantyne, and there's also a mini league that Greyhead runs to go into the Great and the Good League, so you can sort of win the chance to be part of this league as well. So if you win that league, you've done pretty well, so you deserve to go in. And it's Marco Miseric this time around. Apologies if you keep seeing me blowing my nose or a tissue. I've got a bit of a cold at the moment as well, but I'm soldiering on. Okay, and also Ben Krellin is there as well, Andy from Let's Talk FPL, FPL Harry as well, FPL Guns, who won it last year. That's Ali there. So lots and lots of good names. Okay, so let's have a look at the table, see how they're doing. So this is after Game Week 21. And what it shows is a lot of similarity. It's quite congested. There's sort of blocks of managers and how we're all doing. And we're probably all a haul or a massive blunder captaincy fail away from getting 10 points, missing out on 10 points. So it's quite close, really. So, for example, I'm just going to bring up a name. Tom Freeman, who's quite low down on this list, but he is creeping up steadily. He captained Saka, but importantly, he got in Jota. So Jota came in for him for 19 points there. So Tom, his personality is very sort of measured. Looks at the fixtures, form. He's the deputy editor of Fantasy Football Scout, so he's immersed in all the tables and the stats and those types of things. But what he's very good at over the years is picking differentials. And he likes to have a fourth or fifth midfield, or maybe a third striker, but usually a fourth midfielder, as someone very different. So if you look at the overall ownership of players, most of his midfield will be quite well-owned players. Saka, for example, who he captained this week, but other ones will be quite different, and he likes to have that. So a 5% owned manager. Player, for example, because that will help him go up the mini leagues, and obviously he's done that with Jota. So Jota, I think, at the time he got him in, was about 6% owned, 7% owned, and obviously that's going to creep up after a 19-point haul. But anyway, let's have a look at the top. It's Ben Crellin. So Ben is Mr. This is his time of year, basically. He is Mr. Double Game Week, blank Game Weeks, Mr. Fixtures. Him and James at Planet FPL are amongst those figures in the FPL community who are very good at working out TV schedules, working out how a fixture may go into the schedule. When there'll be a blank to do with cup games, and this is what we're happening at the moment. We'll find out more this weekend with the FA Cup. We already know that Game Week 25 is a double for Man City and Brentford. Game Week 26 is blank. Well, should be a blank for Liverpool, and Luton, and Chelsea, and looking and Spurs. Sorry. So looking through our list, but it should be. But we will know for definite this week. So he's on top of all of those types of issues there. This is being just a timestamp. I'm recording this on Friday morning ahead of a lot of those games. So by the time you watch this, you might have more inkling of what's going on there. But Ben will be on top of this, and that's why he's top. Because this is the start of his time of year. So he'll already be planning when he's going to be using his chips and all those types of things. So it's quite, as someone on this table as well, it's quite daunting to see him already at the top, and he hasn't even got into his stride yet. So anyway, he got 72 points in Game Week 21. He's on 1,281 points. That gives him an overall ranking of 40,565. He's gone up 26,000 places despite captaincy blank on Saka, which shows he's had a very, very good week there. FPL, let's talk FPL. Andy is on 68 points as well. He's on 1,279 points overall, and that gives him an overall ranking of just behind Ben at 45,682. He's gone up 16,000 places, also captained Saka. Andy is also a sort of, I would say, a sensible manager. But he does have one, either a strength or a weakness. He's a Manchester United fan. So if he gets a whiff of Harry Maguire or Bruno Fernandes or Rashford, if he gets a whiff of a Manchester United player starting to haul, starting to get a double game week, he'll be all over that. And that can be a strength, or it could be a weakness. But it could be a strength the second half of the season if Manchester United improve. But he's quite measured. He will do the sensible things. And this is why his shows are so popular on YouTube, because he takes a sensible approach. He might disagree with that, but it's a compliment, so he should take it. So yeah, he's on 45,000, so he is doing very well. Just behind him is a Mark. So Andy and Mark, I used to appear on the Scoutcast with, so they're my old Scoutcast partners. There, Mark is just behind him, 1,278 points. So there's just 2 points difference between this top three, and this is the sort of front runners here. He's on 47,988 in the overall rankings. He's gone up 10,000 places. Also captain Saka, got 66 points, not too bad there. So doing well. He's the sort of manager. So I mean, those who watch Black Box, those who are familiar with the Scoutcast and Fantasy Football Scout, which he founded, he is a sort of manager. He doesn't like he likes to predict, and he's very good at predicting what the template will be, and we'll come to that a bit later. But he looks ahead at the fixtures and goes, right, that player's got a good run of fixtures there. I'm probably going to want to captain them. I'm going to get them in. He doesn't mind taking hits to do that. Also, he likes to, I would say he likes to take early transfers. He's not afraid to. And he is, as we'll look at the money table a bit later, he doesn't like to miss out on those price rises because he feels that with later wildcards, you're going to need that money as well. Also, he doesn't mind having a strong bench as well. Over the years on the Scoutcast, I remember myself and him and Granville started when Granville and Mark started it, and then I came in as well. One thing I noticed, Mark would always get these, as Granville would say, jammy bench points. So he would have a 10-point player as his first sub, and well, what a surprise! One of his players was injured, and that 10 points came off his bench. And Granville will always think he was jammy and lucky, but I was always of the school of thought that in that sort of circumstance, you do make your own luck. He's not afraid to have a good bench there because of the planning. So that's the sort of manager he is. Just my picture of him as a manager. There, just behind. Well, I say just behind. So you've got these three in the pack, and then you've got this other pack of which I'm part of, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 managers who are in a chasing pack. There's only like 6 points or so between us all, and it starts with Seb on 69 points for Gameweek 21. He's on 1,268 points, overall ranking 75,348. So you're talking these sort of managers who are in the sort of 70,000-ish mark, and he's there. So he's taken a dip of 1,700 places because he got he has gone up 31,000 places there, and just behind him is Zofa on 1,268 points, the same number of points, but just behind him in the overall rankings at 75,857. Very, very similar, very tight here. So Seb is the sort of manager. Once again, I was appeared on the Scoutcast with him. He is very sort of analytics based. He looks at the sort of optimal team and how and that bases his transfers. So as a result, he's not afraid to make those sorts of bold moves, which may mean taking out a particular heavy hitter like Haaland and replacing with Salah if Salah's got fixtures, or the other way around. And he's not afraid to do that if it's sort of an optimal decision. Sometimes that works out and sometimes it doesn't, but as you can see, at 75,000 in the overall rankings at the Gameweek 21 stage, it's working out more often than not, which is why he's so high up there as well. So he's in that pack there. Zofa is there as well. The sort of manager he is very similar to me. He's much like me. So I've appeared on Meet the Manager videos with him and other videos. And out of all of the people that I've spoken to and interviewed and appeared with, I think Zofa's most similar to me. He is a Chelsea fan, so he does have that sort of inbuilt Chelsea bias, which could be in terms of getting players in or not. And I have that Brighton bias, so in terms of getting players in or not. But he takes the sensible move. If you stop and think each week, what is the most sensible player to get in? Who's got the best fixture? Who would be a good captain? Zofa will get that player in. And he'll do it across his team as well. It may not be a good captain, but he might be just a good player to have in, a glue player to have in. He's a sensible manager there. He's taken a bit of a dip, 17,000 places, but he's 75,857, I said, and level with Seb. They're very different managers, but on the same points there. Behind him is Jan. I don't know Jan's way of playing that well, but he is also doing well. 78,383, just taking a small dip of 8,000 places. He's on 1,267 points, 1 point off Seb and Sofa, and just 10 points off that leading pack of Ben, Andy, and Mark. FPL Harry is next. Once again, a very sensible manager. He will do what is sensible. He'll look at the fixtures in advance. If you watch his videos, you will see he's got a phenomenal recent track record in the game as well. I think he's done ever so well, like top 1,000, huge, amazing finishes in recent years, because he does what is sensible, I think. And I mean, I'm biased because I do try and do sensible things as well. But as we'll see in this list, it's not everyone who's sensible. And when I say sensible, there's more maverick managers here. as well. So he's a more sort of takes a more sensible approach. He's on 57 points for Game Week 21, 1,267 points level with Jan, just one off Zofa and Seb, and 78,724. Taking a dip this week, and then there's me. Who's probably quite similar to Harry, and as it shows here, I'm on exactly the same points as him and Jan. I got 62 points. I actually got 58 with the hit that I took, which to get a Stupinan in. I'm a Brighton fan, so I've obviously got a Stupinan in there. Being a Brighton fan over the years while they've been in the Premier League has actually seen me swerve them because I'm just I've been so nervous about them. But now I feel that they're quite an established Premier League squad. When you look at the transfer rumours and those types of things, it's suddenly Brighton are in for these types of players, which is amazing. We've got Fatty in the team. It's mad. It's just absolutely insane. We've got all these amazing sort of talked about players in our team. So that's where but I'm a very dull. I say sensible, but some people say dull manager. And I'm quite patient, but I will move players out. So at the moment, I've got Haaland and Salah in my team because I wasn't aware of the extent of Haaland's injury. Lots of people guessed he had it wasn't just a stress issue with his foot. It was actually a fracture. But, I had faith and so I've kept him all this time. But it hasn't really harmed me because I'm, still muscling in with all of these managers who've probably got rid of Haaland. In fact, they've all got rid of Haaland. I'm one of the few with him. And also, so I don't think it's really harmed me because the alternative, say Solanke, I've already got in my side, and also with players like Alvarez hasn't really been that amazing. It's been okay, but if Alvarez was getting like 15 points every week, then I'd be really down on this. Everyone would be much higher than me, but hasn't been the case. Anyway, I'm on 1,267 points level with Harry and Jan. Took a dip of 11,000 places, so small red arrow along with Jan and Harry there. And then you've got a sort of very near to that, only 5 points difference. FPL General, Praz, and FPL General and Praz are next up, really, before we get a sort of a next bunch here. So FPL General, like me, quite a sensible manager as well. He is also quite patient as well. He likes to keep, lots of good sayings he has on his General Orders show and also his 59th Minute podcast that we have on Fantasy Football Scout. And he likes to show faith in players that have done well for him. They may have done well for him recently or over the years as well, and he will show faith in those players and he'll keep them as well. But as we will talk about a bit later, I was on the General's Orders video with him early in the week, and really interesting what he was saying about how the template is shifting. And we're going to talk about template a bit later. So especially amongst these managers here who've largely got quite a good track record in the game. He feels there is going to be this shift and certain players start getting talked about and many of them create content and you'll see the same images of players on the thumbnails. Perhaps it could be De Bruyne. I'm recording this before he plays against Spurs, so he could get injured tonight, so I'm taking a risk there. But he thinks that the likes of Haaland when he's back, Kevin De Bruyne, already Foden, these are going to be popular players amongst the template of engaged managers. Anyway, he got 52 points. He's on 98,000, so there's a bit of a gap there, sort of a 20,000 gap between myself, Harry, Jan, Zofa and Seb and FPL General. Praz is very similar to him as well. He's also on 1,262 points, 98,907, so completely level. He is the helicopter view guy, which means he looks at, he gets in his helicopter, his FPL helicopter, and has a look at the fixtures as they're planning out. So a bit like Ben Crellin, he will have an eye on how the fixtures will pan out in terms of blanks and double game weeks, how the template will shift, the sorts of captains you're going to want to keep getting, players you might want to remove. He does the Deadline Dilemmas show with Rich on a Thursday or Friday. It's actually on a Friday. It's actually going to be tonight as I'm recording. So do look at that. I understand they're scheduling that after Traitors because they, a bit like me, like watching that. Okay. And so, yeah, they're very, quite different. well, yeah, quite different managers, but on exactly the same points there. And then you've got another gap here. You've got some other runs here. So I'll speed through the rest of these. So I realise I've been rattling on about 20 minutes. It's probably because I know a lot of these managers here. Met some in real life, met some on video, talked on social media, and so I was just giving a sort of a bit of an insight into who they are, the types of managers they are, and where they are in the overall rankings. So you've got Andy next. Andy on the Scoutcast as well. Another I appeared on the Scoutcast. Got 61 points. He is... so this is a big gap here. So it's 1,251. So it's only 9 points difference, but that's... he's at 153,681. So it shows there's a 55,000 place gap between just that 9 points. Between that... Sorry, I can't count at all. Between those 11 points between Praz and Andy, so that 11-point difference is worth 55,000, which is quite a lot. So, for me, I feel quite precarious here. I mean, I'm basically sort of 10, 15 points away from like being at the top, and 10, 15 points away of slowly slipping down and moving down to some of the names we're about to mention. Next up is Fabio. Fabio Borges is probably the best manager, most consistent manager over the years. He's 1,243 points, so a bit behind Andy there, and he's at 202,000. He will creep up. He did take a 63,000 knock this week with only 50 points in Game Week 20, but he will look out for him. Now, he is the guy, he always finishes really high, top 10,000, top 5k, that kind of thing. So he will just keep going up and up. So watch out for him as well. Worth pointing out that Andy was the only one to captain Palmer. Everyone captained Saka, apart from Andy and another manager we'll mention in a sec. Tom Freeman I've spoken about. His calling card is picking a really good differential, and he got Jota in, which is why he's got 140,000 green arrow. Huge, absolutely huge. And he's at 289,000. So that is absolutely amazing achievement. 72 points there. John Ballantyne's next, 53 points. Big gap here to 1,225 points. He's at 356,700. Taking a small red arrow, 58,000. I say small for where he is in the rankings. That's a small red arrow. But yeah, I expect him to go up here. And Ali, FPL Guns, won it last year, not to be sniffed at. He's not just a one-season wonder. He's done well before. Got 93 points. 89 after the hit that he took a -4. He's one of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 managers that took hits this week. In Finn's case, and bottom place as they took a -8. So yeah, Ali, Wow, why did he do so well with his 694,223 green arrow to put him at 700,000 or so? So he's not been having the greatest season so far, but boy, is he making up for it now. So he captained Martinelli, who was bench for Arsenal, came on and scored a brace. So it doesn't get better than that. Massively low owned, huge point scores, and not a huge point score in a week where he could get comfortably 20, 30 points more than most people in this table. Marco won earned the right to come into this league last season. Only 46 points. He took quite a big red arrow, 228,000 or so, and he's at 737,000. So, but I expect him to move up there. And Az on 74 points, big healthy green arrow, 310,000 green arrow. He's at 1,277,000. He hasn't had the greatest of seasons as he documents each week on videos he does for us, and also on Black Box on the Q&A he does with Sam each week. He captains Saka, but 74 points, has seen a big healthy green arrow. The -8 has really paid off there, and I can see him doing that again. He, like me, is a Brighton fan, so he will go for those Brighton players if they're looking like they're going to be good differentials, and he will definitely look for a good differential and captain a good differential. He will make those bold moves, so expect a lot of bold moves, expect a lot of green arrows as well, because they'll be quite calculated moves, as you would imagine. Okay, let's have a look at some of the transfers they've made. Okay, Andy, so the general theme is Son out to another player, and most have actually kept Salah. So when we talk about the template for Game Week 22, I'm expecting a lot of these managers to swap Salah out, because we know that, unlike with Haaland, he might be back, isn't. He's not back. He is not back for at least two or three game weeks. You're not going to see him. So time to move him out. And that's why I think Kevin De Bruyne is going to be a very popular in for a lot of these managers. So look out for that. And I know, I'm not just saying it because I'm probably going to do that, but I think a lot of them will do that. Because why not? You got all that Salah money. De Bruyne's looking good. Once again, this video is going to go out on Saturday after the Spurs game. Forget everything I've just said if De Bruyne is injured. Okay, so but nevertheless, Salah will go out, and it will be for another midfielder, and we'll probably be looking at targeting all of the managers here. Will be looking to target Man City options and Liverpool options as well, because Liverpool are likely to get a double in 25, likely, and then they're going to blank in 26, likely at this stage. So that's where the templates can move to. Anyway. So Andy, Son to Richarlison. Richarlison, good captain for Gameweek 22, I think, home to Brentford. Andy did Son to Foden, Alexander-Arnold out to Estupiñán. So quite good moves, although Alexander-Arnold could be back in Gameweek 22, so he might regret that. As it's bold -8, he got... moved Salah to downgrade to Garnacho as the enabler. That enabled him to push Archer up to João Pedro on penalties for Brighton. And Estupiñán, who is Mr. Clean sheet now, goals and assists for Brighton. Livramento came out there. Quite lucky there because Trippier was rumoured to be in the sights of Bayern Munich, which meant Livramento would be nailed on. But that deals fell through. So Livramento is back to a bench player. So wise move. Ben Crellin, nice and sensible. Son to Richarlison, a bit like Andy. Once again, a good captain for this week, possibly. Fabio Borges, no transfers. He does this. And then he'll suddenly unleash a -8 and it'll be amazing and effective. But he's no transfers this week, so he's holding. So watch out. He is going to be making a move. Most of these managers here will not have Haaland. So they'll be keeping an eye on getting Haaland in. And they will be looking to use Salah money to do that. Or use Salah money just to get Kevin De Bruyne in and wait a week on Haaland. And many of them may wait a week. Finn has done Son to Foden, Salah to Pascal Gross, and Taylor to Estupiñán in his hits there. FPL General, simple Salah to Foden. So he doesn't have Salah anymore. FPL Ali, FPL Guns, Son to Foden, Alexander-Arnold to Estupiñán. You see the common theme here. Harry, Jan, and myself all did Son to Foden. I also did move Lamptey to Estupiñán. I know Lamptey came back, but he's not going to start. Oh, he's not going to start every match, and certainly not nailed. And he'll probably get injured in a mo. And so, with blanks and doubles coming up, I just needed a player that's playing and going to do well. I couldn't carry Lamptey anymore, so I didn't mind spending a -4 for that. John Ballantyne, Son to Foden. Mark, another Son to Foden. He also moved Alexander-Arnold to Alfie Doughty. Myself and Mark are the only ones here with Alfie Doughty, I believe. He should have a double in game 25, but then a blank in 26. So could be good. And you can play him pretty much most weeks. I'm going to play him this week. I benched him once and he got 2 assists against Chelsea. I'm not going to bench him again. He's like Leighton Baines. Never bench, never captain. Marco got rid of Kudos to Foden. Kudos is back, by the way, game week 22. He might regret that. Son to Gross, Alexander-Arnold to Estupiñán. You can see the theme here. Estupiñán, Foden, very, very popular moves in Praz, Son to Foden. Seb, Dalot to Walker. And this is classic optimal move here. Man City got doubles coming up. Walker nailed on, can get assists, can get bonus. That's classic analytics move there. Tom, as I've said, Son to Jota, inspired Livramento Estupiñán. So that's 27 points there, and he got so it's 27 points up. Brilliant. That's what we all dream of each week, and Zofa, another Son to Foden move. So you can see the theme there as well. Let's have a look at money here. I'm aware we're sort of up to a half an hour mark, but we'll have a look at money here. No surprise here, but there is a surprise for me. So I do late transfers, so I can happily watch a player go up. So I'm interested in Kevin De Bruyne this week for Salah. He's gone up 0.3 already. Salah's gone down 1 or 2, might go down again. I'll leave it because I feel I'm okay for money, and this chart shows it. So anyway, Mr. Moneybags Mark, he does not like to miss out on value. Absolutely huge. So he's got 106.1 million there, and he's actually got 6.9 in the bank, which indicates he's already planning for a possible Haaland in move there. FPL Harry just behind him, 105.9. Andy just behind him as well. He also has a lot of money in the bank, which indicates he's going to make a move for Haaland. Me, 105.4 as well, and I've got 1.2 in the bank because I've invested all my money in players that are playing like Salah and Haaland. But I feel happy with Haaland in my team. I don't have to worry about that. I see the lots of stress about, how do we get Haaland in? Do we bother getting him in because he might only be a sub against Burnley? But I'm just going to play him. Probably not captain him, but I'm just going to play him. 105.4 there. So I'm not far behind these guys here, the money bags guys. And I don't even look at it, but that just shows that if you sort of have those sort of players, the money sort of makes itself really. If you have players that score well and people get in, they just, so I've got Porro in. I kept him when Maddison got injured, and since then I think he's gone up absolutely huge amount. So a lot of that money was probably from Porro. Praz just behind, and Andy, and then I'll just move down to the bottom of that list. There it's Ali, FPL Guns. He probably shows that he's quite patient. Marco and John bottom there, and so's Az, which sort of indicates the sort of season Az has been having. Getting in players people don't want basically, but now I think that will turn around there. But top there's Ben Crellin on 105.1, and that's $1 million less than Mark. So Mark will see that as an advantage there, but maybe Ben will target cheaper players, and sometimes you can get cheaper players they'll be better than outperform others. Martinelli against Saka this week, for example, in Game 21 is an example there. And I just thought that was quite interesting there. No surprise with Mark being top, but it's a surprise for someone like me doing okay there for money. But you don't win FPL by having more money in the bank, So it's points, not pounds. Let's move to finally, really looking at the template. So this is the template from Gameweek 21 in Greyhead's article. So this is the latest one he's got here. So he felt that the consensus was to keep hold of Salah, and that looks okay. The case most have kept hold of Salah, and also reshuffling the backline with Estupiñán coming in for maybe Saliba. And Foden replacing Son. So he's highlighted that as well. So this is the current template, and then I'll explain where I think it's going to change. So Areola and Dubravka, most have gone for that. So there's 18 managers in this list. 14 have Areola, 13 Dubravka. So people are going cheap and rotating them where they can. Gabriel, 15. So unless you benched him, got him points there. Porro, 15 managers. Alexander-Arnold, 11. I don't have Alexander-Arnold. I may not get him in. I don't know, but he's only owned by 11 managers there, but I think that could creep up. Estupiñán with 9, that could creep up as well. And Taylor, there's a few people with Taylor, that's going to go down. Because people aren't going to want to carry him during a blank and a double game week there. You want good players who play every week. Saka with 17, Palmer with 17, Foden with 15. These are the number of managers in the great and the good with them. Salah with 13. Loads of people have kept Salah. Richarlison with 5. Watkins in every team, all 18. Solanke in 14, and Alvarez in 11. So I'm one of those without Alvarez. So how is it going to change? Well, I'm just going to quickly put the fixtures up, and then we'll go back to this in a sec. Sorry, I haven't got the fixtures up here. So I meant fixtures on my screen. I haven't got it on your screen yet. So how I think change? Well, I think that it will go. Looking at the fixtures, which I'm not going to show you because I didn't put the picture up. But looking at the fixtures, Brighton continue to have a great fixture run. Luton, Crystal Palace, Tottenham, Sheffield United. Crucially, they play in 26, and it's a good fixture, home to Everton. And then they've got Fulham and Nottingham Forest. So I can see Estupiñán figures going up. You might get a few Pascal Grosses in. João Pedro might be needed. You're going to be getting some of those players in. You're going to see them coming in as well. With Man City as well, they're second in the season ticker. They've got Burnley, Brentford, Everton. But then they've got this double with Chelsea and Brentford, both home matches in 25. They play in 26 at Bournemouth, which is another great fixture. Then they've got the Manchester Derby and Liverpool. So it gets a bit trickier, but it's Man City. So already I can see Salah is going to move to either KDB, in my case, or Salah, if they haven't, either through a hit or 2 free transfers, Salah's going to be used to, the money's going to be used into the front line to get Haaland back. Or, I mean, I think Salah, some might decide to keep him, but I don't think so. I think pretty much most, we're going to see Salah down to maybe 1 or 0 in the next template. So he's going to be used either money to get Haaland in or to De Bruyne, but it's going to be definitely targeting City there. So we might see Garnacho appear on this list. So if you're moving Salah down and they're going to upgrade, I don't know, Solanke, for example, then I think that Salah will move out, and I think it will become Garnacho. We'll see more of that, and then we'll see Haaland in the list. But with his minutes not secure in Game Week 22, as in he could come on as a sub, a lot of the great and the good might decide to wait. So which makes them think, well, they need a captain. Manchester City are playing Burnley, which might persuade more to go for Kevin De Bruyne. I think that's the way it's going to go. Not all will do that, but some will. Richarlison 5, that could go up. Although he could blank in Game Week 26. I'm very likely to blank there. Watkins, Solanke, Alvarez is the popular front line. So I've got Haaland, Watkins, Solanke. I think that's what a lot will be moving to. So Alvarez might make way for Haaland. Whether in 22 or 23, or Solanke will move. I'm personally not going to move Solanke. We saw what he did against Swansea. Yes, I know it's Swansea, and Swansea are not in good form anyway in the FA Cup. But he's got West Ham, Nottingham Forest and Fulham. So up I am to 24, Game Week 24. So I think Solanke's a really great option to keep. And then he's got Newcastle in Game Week 25 and then Man City in 26. That's when I'll be looking to move Solanke on. So if they want to get Haaland in quick, Solanke might not be the way to do it, but they might think otherwise. All the others in this great and the good league. Alvarez, I think, is for the chop. We're going to see that figure go down. So the great and the good template for the next game week, I think goalkeeper's not going to mess around with. Gabriel not going to mess around with. Porro might be starting to think of it. Remains to be seen. The great and the good will look at whether Maddison's comeback sort of influences whether they keep Porro or not, whether he retains a lot of corners, that type of thing. Probably unlikely. He's probably going to go to Maddison. Alexander-Arnold, if he's back, I think they'll stay steady because Liverpool have a Chelsea and Arsenal next, but then Burnley and Brentford. And Brentford could be part of Brentford-Luton double there. So game week 24, if I'm looking to get a Liverpool defender in, whether it be Alexander-Arnold or not, it'll be around game week 24. So that'll probably stay the same. Stupian could go up. Taylor, that probably should go down, but they might not be bothered. It's not a priority move, put it that way, until you start getting to the blanks and the doubles when you might need it. Saka could be... Now, if you just bear with me one second, I'm just going to close my door because my dogs are barking. My cheeky dogs, that sort of kept them at bay a little bit. So I think with Watkins, Solanke, Saka, these are the sort of players people are going to start to want to move out. And I think Saka, they might be tempted to. I'm personally okay with Saka, but I think I might move him out sort of game week 24, 25-ish as well. It remains to be seen. But anyway, that's how I think the great and the good leagues can go, based on how I know some of these managers and how they think there. A couple of apologies for my loud dogs, which you might not better hear because I've got quite a directional microphone, but you might not better hear them. But I can certainly hear them, and it's slightly putting me off, which is probably good time for me to stop rambling on about the great and the good. But I thought it'd be good to catch up on how they're doing and how the template, I think, is going to change. So they could be template busting, or they could be following the template, or they could be setting the template. I don't know which way around it's going to be, but I think it's going to be changing. Anyway, thanks so much for your time. Just a reminder, do press that like button, do subscribe, keep up to date with our latest videos and podcasts, and do have a look at fantasyfootballscout.co.uk for latest membership offers. Thanks a lot for your time. Take care. See you soon.